Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On broadcast today, Paul Enos joins us. He's the CEO of the Nevada Trucking Association, here for the whole show on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Retail's impact on Nevada's economy? Enormous. 8,600 businesses, large and small, employing 145,000 workers. And last fiscal year, retail paid tax on nearly $60 billion in sales. We're the Retail Association of Nevada. We support retail, we help it grow, and we mean business.
RANNV.org.
Pro Group Management specializes in providing industries with the necessary components to satisfy and exceed workers' comp requirements. Every business has unique needs and specific regulations. Pro Group Management stays ahead of the curve, providing up-to-date services to keep your industry in top form. Discover how we simplify your tasks, improve efficiency, and reduce expense to keep you moving in a positive direction. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
Early in the morning or throughout the night, professional truck drivers are on the job, serving you, safely moving freight that's crucial to our economy. From the oldest industries to our newest innovators, from the exotic to the everyday, trucks are everywhere, moving everything. Never afraid to embrace a future that makes Nevada and our nation stronger. Trucking moves America forward.
What do you count on? You count on your power every day. At NV Energy, we've always powered what's important to you, but we're not looking at the past. We're focused on the future. While our standards are high, our rates will remain low, and our commitment to renewables isn't just meeting standards, but leading the way, because you can count on more than just your power. You can count on the company who brings it to you. That's our promise. You can count on it.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're always pleased to welcome back to the program my landlord, Paul Enos. He's the CEO of the Nevada Trucking Association, which is where our program broadcasts from.
Always good to see you, Sammy.
Thank you, sir. I want to ask you a personal question. Going back in time to 2010, you and I got to interview Sandra Day O'Connor. She passed, as everybody knows, a couple of weeks ago now as this show airs. I thought that that was an amazing interview from my perspective to get a chance to interview a Supreme Court justice. I think it was even more impressive on you.
Well, she's the only person that I've ever asked for an autograph for who I've done Nevada Newsmakers with for now, oh my gosh, 20 years, Sammy. And it wasn't for me, it was for my daughter. Looking back to that, number one, I guess I was happy that I was as deferential as I was to her during that interview. But something that still strikes me, and it's advice that I give to people all the time who are trying to break into a field where they may not have an opportunity, is she did that by working for free and proving herself. And I do think that's
why.
Something that,
Because people don't know the story behind that.
Being a woman attorney, she couldn't get a job with a number of different law firms.
Yet she had passed top of her class in law school.
Absolutely brilliant mind, and still not able to do that because of the views of the day. And she offered to work for free and prove herself. And, I think that gets lost on a lot of people. So whether it's, you want to break into radio or television or politics, God knows why, just being able to say, hey, I'm going to give up my time to pursue this passion and I'm going to show somebody what I can do. I think that still means something.
Absolutely.
And, I do think that's something that does get lost in a lot of people. And hey, that's how I broke into this silly world. And I looking back on that, I think that's a great life lesson from, somebody who was able to matriculate to the highest position of power in jurisprudence in this country. So, no, it is sad, but man, what an amazing life she lived.
And if people would like to see we did a 2-part interview with her over 2 shows. You can go to NevadaNewsmakers.com. We've got a box at the top of the homepage. You can just click on that and watch those 2 shows and see both of us. I have more hair and you're a lot younger.
Yeah, longer. I think I was fatter too, so.
That could have been the case. Been obviously a lot of discussion continuing on about the electrification of cars and other vehicles. And one of the topics that's come up recently, I got a call from State Senator Pat Spearman regarding hydrogen as an alternate fuel that would be much better than electric cars.
Sure,
and
there's definitely some benefits to hydrogen.
Okay, hang on, let me just finish a second here. So as I did a little bit of research, the only state in the nation that has hydrogen fueling stations is California, and the only people making hydrogen cars has now been reduced to 1 because out of the 3 manufacturers, 2 dropped out.
Well, there's been a couple of SEC investigations, with some of the companies that were making hydrogen trucks that I think kind of stalled some of those efforts. But the benefit that you have from hydrogen over electric is you can fuel it up like you can fuel up a diesel truck today or a natural gas truck today. So you're not waiting hours to get that full charge. That's one of the benefits. Of course, it's zero emissions. It does take energy. It does take water typically to make hydrogen. So, there's some challenges there. It's really interesting, Sammy, when we talk about all of these different ways to replace fossil fuels. It seems like we're just shifting the emissions from the tailpipe or the stack on a truck to somewhere else, whether that's in a mine, whether that is going around and collecting yellow grease and white choice fat and corn and soy and all of those inputs that go into making a feedstock. Sure. And so, I love the studies that the American Transportation Research Institute has done on this, where they actually take a gander at the entire life cycle impact of fossil fuel reduction with these different alternative vehicles. With electric, compared to an internal combustion engine, your life cycle savings is about 30%. If you were to use renewable diesel, which 38% of all the fuel in California, diesel fuel, is renewable diesel, low carbon, it's costlier to produce 2.5 to 3 times. It's costlier to get the feedstock, which once again, about 2.5 to 3 times. But the CO2 output is a third of regular diesel today. It can be used in the same fleet and fueling infrastructure that we have. You don't need to buy new trucks. You don't need new fueling stations. And you get twice the CO2 reduction from that than battery electric vehicles. There are benefits to all of these things. I think that Tesla, I've seen the Tesla semi-truck. I think it is a beautiful product. You hear the ranges up to 500 miles, which is phenomenal. Of course, for local delivery, some of that stuff makes sense. For some of our biggest companies or biggest LTLs, less than truckload companies, they're using natural gas and CNG and propane and a multitude of different fuels for different applications that works for them in those specific instances. For most of the trucking industry and most of my members, diesel is the best thing. Diesel has the most energy. Diesel can get them the farthest. And we have done a tremendous amount in the last generation of reducing the CO2 that comes out, the particulate matter that comes out, the NOx that comes out, the volatile organic compounds. We've done a pretty tremendous job where the emissions from one truck today equal over 60 from 1988. That's pretty phenomenal, and that's been done through a partnership with the engineers that are making the trucks and the EPA But when I look at where California is trying to take us, and where some of the other states, and hey, including our former governor, who signed us up for, hey, we're gonna move down this road with California and all of these northeastern states. I don't think it makes a lot of sense for our state. We talk about moving everything to ZEV. You may be able to do that in certain applications in local transportation. You're not going to do that in over long distances.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. You're saying over 500 miles for an electric truck. But how long would that take to charge? And do you have to only charge it up to 80%? Because
Sam, I don't know. I honestly,
because that might be a day.
I don't know. I don't know on the Tesla truck. I know what I've heard. I do know with some of the other OEMs, that's original equipment manufacturers. So those are your Peterbilts and your Daimlers and your Internationals, the electric trucks that they have on the market, Freightliners. They don't have that range. I saw one at one of my members' facility back in August that had a range of 187 miles. Okay, 187 miles from Sparks won't get you to the Port of Oakland.
Right.
And once again, that 187 miles is predicated on a fairly stable grade and fairly stable weather conditions, which, hey, Donner Summit isn't known for either of those things. So we don't have the use case scenarios from my membership where I can, understand what the real impact is today on electric vehicles over long distances as more folks buy the Tesla Semi, and we see that. Hey, I'm sure I'm going to hear those stories, and if they have it that works, fantastic. But I will say one thing, Sam.
Sure.
Markets are much better to make these decisions than government regulations, an unelected California Air Resources Board, politicians. Markets are the best.
I don't disagree with you on that. As far as charging stations for trucks in California, are they plentiful? Are they remote? Are they viable? Because the Wall Street Journal had a reporter go around to just regular charging stations that weren't Tesla charging stations around the LA area and found that a large percentage of those either didn't work or had a connectivity issue between the credit card, which is a computer system, and the vehicle, which is a computer system, and they were not matching up. So it was very difficult for her to be able to charge.
I think that it's definitely a challenge for our trucks to find places to charge. The infrastructure isn't there for commercial trucking yet.
And will it be there in 5 years?
5 years? I don't know. I think, Sam, we have a very hard time building anything in this country. When one of my members, a dealer here in Reno, put in a charging facility, he was told by the city and by the utility that no one within a 10 square mile radius would be able to put another charging station in for at least 5 years.
Because of power generation problems?
Well, the grid capacity, right? Yeah. The ability to produce that power and have that there. For a Tesla, it's a lot easier than for an 80,000 pound big rig.
Right.
And one of the other issues you have besides the charging is the reduction of capacity in that truck. So what does that mean? That's the empty space. That's the amount of freight that a truck can haul.
And is that based on the weight of the battery?
It's based on the weight of the battery in the whole truck. There is 21 and a half times more copper in an electric truck than there is in a internal combustion engine, a conventional diesel truck today. That's just the copper and the wiring to make sure that all the electricity is going to the wheels. You look at the battery as well. I mean, you are looking at about a 18,000 pound reduction in capacity with an electric truck versus an internal combustion engine. Now, that might work for some folks. That might work for certain applications. And if it does, fantastic. But once again, This is where the market is going to make that determination, and that is a much better place to be than government edict.
So this could be good news potentially for Pumpkin Hollow out in Yerington, where they are going to mine copper.
Well, Sam, I'm a mining kid. I love the mining industry. Honestly, when I look at moving all of our mobility, when we have these discussions, these net zero by 2050 discussions, moving our mobility to electric, it scares the hell out of me. If we thought the politics over Mideastern oil was tough, dealing with China that has secured a tremendous amount of raw materials throughout the world, from copper to lithium to cadmium to cobalt to graphite.
Oh, they're all over Africa.
It scares the hell out of me, and it should scare the hell out of every American, because if we thought some of the supply chain issues that we had after COVID were difficult, that is an appetizer to this excrement buffet that we are going to have to eat if we move there.
I'm not even going to go down that road.
I was trying not to drop a 4-letter word on your show.
Thank
Sammy.
you. Net zero by 2050. Now, is that in California as well, or do they have a sooner deadline?
That's the Paris Accords, right? That Joe Biden has signed us up to. That's the talk.
But what's California?
Well, California is no more big rig sales by 2040. 2035 for gas cars, diesel trucks, 2040. And once again, I think that's a challenge. Today, we are dealing with diesel trucks going into California that, if you have a truck going into California, you have until December 31st to register that truck as part of a California fleet. It's a $30 cost. No earlier than July of next year, you're going to have to start submitting your data from that truck, all the codes that your truck throws. You're going to have to submit that to the California Resources Board. I think a lot of people are not aware of that. We just had a little webinar yesterday here at the Nevada Trucking Association for our members to let them know you're going to have to do this, identify your California fleet. If you have a refrigerator unit, a reefer, and you go into California, starting, once again, December 31st of this year, you're going to have a sticker on that truck and have it registered with California Resources Board, or else the warehouse that you are delivering to, if they accept that freight without that sticker on the trailer, you could be subjected to a $3,000 fine. So imagine, some poor trucker from Iowa is swinging meat in the back of his rig, trying to drop off a load in Sacramento, getting turned away, not knowing. So I appreciate you giving me this opportunity to let some of our folks know that this is a requirement that is here. It's not going away, and you got to get that done.
All right, let's take a break. We'll come back, and then maybe there's some possibilities for Nevada to benefit from this after this time out.
The Nevada Builders Alliance has been protecting the interests of the construction industry for over 50 years. Our programs save members thousands of dollars every year and allow them to provide much-needed benefits to their employees. Our industry also allows Nevada to grow. If you're thinking about a career in the construction industry, reach out. And if you haven't thought of a career in construction, what are you waiting for? We are the Nevada Builders Alliance.
Remember 2010 in Northern Nevada, 13 to 14% unemployment, thousands of homes in foreclosure, Nevada's casinos closing? Families in the Reno-Sparks area were hurting. Many were losing everything. Then Story County launched a game changer for our region, a public-private industrial partnership, streamlined permitting, slashed bureaucracy, attracting Fortune 500 companies that made Nevada their home. Story County generated a river of cash to area communities. Economic studies by the state and others for the Gigafactory consistently show positive economic benefits for our region. $4 billion in local wages, $17 billion in consumer spending and economic activity, over $100 million in taxes to Washoe, Story, Reno, Sparks, and Nevada, just for the Gigafactory alone. Story County, improving Northern Nevada one industry at a time.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Paul Enos. He's the CEO of the Nevada Trucking Association. So continuing on with the discussion we were having before the break. So if going into California is going to be such an issue, does that open the door for Nevada to be a place where you change your trucking from a truck that comes from, say, Iowa, like you were saying with meat or whatever, they then make a transfer to a California-rated truck that then takes it the rest of the way.
So we already,
like an inland port type thing.
We already have a lot of that exists here in the Silver State, because you can run longer combination vehicles in Nevada and through a lot of the West that you can't run in California. So we've already seen some of that. We have seen carriers nationwide either put on a California surcharge or say, hey, we're not going to run into that state. I do have a lot of members who, are CARB compliant, who have followed the rules, who have, done everything that they need to do to comply with the edicts from the Golden State. And I do think that is an option where, it's that last mile into California, which Sam is screwed up as it is, I think is still one of the most blessed places on the planet Earth in terms of geographic diversity, natural resources, beauty. It's just the politics and the people that have screwed it up.
All right, let's take one more break and we'll be right back.
Merry Christmas to everybody at the Winnemucca Big R.
Merry Christmas from Big R Lovelock.
Merry Christmas from the Fallon Big R.
Merry Christmas from Big R Fernley.
Merry Christmas from all of us at Big R Sparks.
Merry Christmas and a whole lot more.
Save money and take transit. Did you know you can ride the bus all day for less than what it would cost you for a gallon of gas? Plan your trip now by going to rtcwashoe.com.
'Tis the season for the Holiday Cash Express at Tamarack Casino. We're trimming the tree with weekly cash giveaways, including a $5,000 winner every Saturday, plus $70,000 in grand prize stocking stuffers, including two $15,000 Holiday Cash winners guaranteed. It's a good time to win at Tamarack Casino.
As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
For 50 years, Nevada Heating has been keeping people comfortable in their homes. At Nevada Heating, call the Do It Right guys and get the heat back on today. Call us today and we'll fix it today. That's the Nevada Heating way. Why freeze for days on end when Nevada Heating can get your furnace fixed today? Call us today and we'll fix it today at 323-5585 or schedule us on our website at nevadaheating.com.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Paul Enos. He's the CEO of the Nevada Trucking Association. Obviously, you lobby at the legislature. You have a team that goes along with you. But it seems that more and more with politics across the country, it's getting harder and harder to get people who one would consider to be qualified to run for office. How do you see this?
Well, I mean, I think that's true. Who wants to subject themselves, time away from their family, their business to a job with a tremendous amount of criticism? You now have, the reality is, and how it should be, is every one of your constituents is your boss, in a sense. No, it is a hard thing, Sam. I do think we have some very good people at the legislature, both Republican and Democrat, who we can work with. And, from my industry's perspective, we are a bipartisan, nonpartisan organization. The reality is we just need stuff to work. I'm very happy we have the governor that we do here in the Silver State today. President, not so much. He's done some good things with truck parking, but hearing him talk about how he solved the supply chain crisis last week had me kind of scratching my head. So,
just a quick note here, because we've got about 30 seconds left. People don't really understand how much actually does get accomplished quietly behind the scenes at both the federal level and the state level, do they?
Well, it takes a lot to make this work. And, I do think, Sam, a lot of times what we're dealing with is just trying to remove a little bit of weight. I was telling my wife about Harrison Bergeron, the Kurt Vonnegut story back from the early 60s about how, you would handicap the people that were more intelligent or stronger. And it does kind of seem like a lot of our rules and regulations tend to handicap. And we do need, I think, to do a better job of removing some of those barriers, making it easier for people to be entrepreneurs, making it easier for people to run businesses. And, it is a challenge. But hey, that's why we're here, and that's why we've been around for almost 92 years here at the Nevada Trucking Association.
And thank you for having us here. We
Thanks,
appreciate
Sandy.
it very much. And we'll be right back. Thanks, Paul.
'Tis the season for the Holiday Cash Express at Tamarack Casino. We're trimming the tree with weekly cash giveaways, including a $5,000 winner every Saturday, plus $70,000 in grand prize stocking stuffers, including two $15,000 Holiday Cash winners guaranteed. It's a good time to win at Tamarack Casino.
7 at 7 is a newscast built for your smartphone. It's a 7-minute newscast available every weekday at 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. at lvrj.com. We don't waste your time, and we give you the day's top stories.
We at the RJ have noticed some similarities between us and a certain BTS character, RJ.
Plus the latest in Las Vegas business, weather, health, and entertainment news. 7 at 7 streaming now on your smartphone.
Imagine a magical garden that feeds Carson City's hungry and homeless, teaches our high school students agriculture, creates hanging floral displays to beautify downtown, and yet charges nothing. It's not magic. It's the Greenhouse Project. It's real, it's growing, and it needs your help. Go online to carsоncitygreenhouse.org so together we can grow it forward.
Modern boutique Ahern Hotel and Event Center sits at the heart of the Las Vegas Strip. 2 floors of meeting and event space are ideal for groups and conventions. Stay in one of 200 luxurious rooms and suites. Brand your event throughout the property. Flexible event spaces make for easy planning and personalization. Take over the entire hotel with a full buyout option.
It's the $200,000 Cars and Cash giveaways at Carson Valley Inn. Cash and prize drawings Thursdays and Saturdays. Plus, win a 2023 Ford F-150 or we'll pay you cash instead. Don't miss your chance to play and win. Cars and Cash at the Carson Valley Inn.
Thanks for watching Nevada Newsmakers. You can catch us online 24 hours a day at NevadaNewsmakers.com, or you can download the podcast wherever you like to get your podcast. We'll see you on the next broadcast.